Maria's walking stick tapped uneven pavement as dawn bled pink over Vancouver's rain-slick streets. Beneath a sagging hydrangea bush, her toe nudged something solid, a chipped espresso cup, half buried in mulch. Mrs. Kowalski's. Memory hit like June humidity, last summer's screaming match over fence lines, that cup hurled in fury. 52 years old and too tired for grudges, Maria pocketed it. By noon, she'd rallied fam from community center, not for mediation, but motion. Maria's walking stick tapped uneven pavement as dawn painted Vancouver's streets gold. That stick, carved by her late husband, had steadied her through grief, but now it felt heavier than ever. Neighborhood tensions had simmered for months, passive-aggressive notes about recycling bins, side-eyes over unshoveled snow. She'd tried baking muffins, burnt, hosting tea, awkward silences, but nothing stuck. Then, inspiration struck mid-stumble over a rogue skateboard. What if we walked our way out of this mess? She pitched Idea Community Center, where fluorescent lights buzzed like skeptical crickets. Just a casual stroll, fam. No agendas, just fresh air. A few shrugged, others muttered. But next Sunday, 7 neighbors showed up, including woman who'd glared Maria's loud wind chimes. Feet moved before words did. Sidewalks became neutral ground. Maria's stick clicked a rhythm, syncopated by her clumsy step into a puddle. Laughter bubbled up, unexpected. By third walk, someone brought homemade granola. By fifth, they detoured to admire cherry blossoms, shoulders brushing like tentative friends. Her deepest fear, that isolation would calcify into permanence, like ice over a windshield, began to thaw. Each step was a tiny rebellion against quiet ache of being unseen. And as maple leaves twirled overhead, Maria realized, sometimes healing wasn't about fixing cracks, but learning to dance on uneven ground. Maria's walking stick tapped uneven pavement as dawn painted Vancouver's streets gold. 52 years of city living had taught her neighbors squabbles often festered behind closed doors, lawnmower wars, parking spot standoffs, noise complaints lobbed like grenades. But today, her knee twinged with more than arthritis. A fresh flyer flapped on a lamppost, Block Party Walk Club, resolve drama step by step. Below, someone had scribbled or just burned it all down in pencil. Creator snorted. She signed up, half expecting granola crunchy idealism. Instead, she found a crew of salt and pepper-haired regulars led by a spry septuagenarian named Hoshi, whose neon sneakers clashed gloriously with his walk it out before you talk it out tee. First rule. No griping allowed until mile 2. Blood's gotta pump before brains unknot, Hoshi winked, handing her a laminated map dotted with conflict hotspots, Mrs. Kowalski's hedge feud, duplex dog do détente. Week 1, Creator nearly ate curb avoiding a rogue skateboard. Week 2, she clocked Mr. Nguyen secretly feeding feral cats behind community center dumpster. Turns out, his nuisance was just loneliness. By week 3, her stick wasn't just propping up creaky joints, it became a baton, tapping out rhythms for stragglers to catch up. Then came real test, a showdown between yoga pants-clad Brenda and retired plumber Gus over a disputed rose bush. Creator herded them onto route, Hoshi trailing with tactical cough drops. Puffing uphill, Brenda admitted she missed gardening with her late mom. Gus grunted about hating thorns. By time they hit coffee cart turnaround, they'd agreed to split pruning duties, and Gus' famous rhubarb pie recipe. Word spread. Club ballooned to 20, then 40. City Council even donated reflective vests, though Hoshi insisted on bedazzling his. Maria's stick, now nicked with mile markers, felt lighter somehow, less crutch, more conductor's wand. One misty morning, she spotted a teen doodling on Walk Club flyer again. Before she could scold, he pocketed his Sharpie. "Ite, fam. Where's sign-up sheet?" Vancouver's sidewalks hummed with fresh cadence. Not all battles dissolved in sweat and endorphins, but enough did. Maria grinned, adjusting her neon armband. Who knew peacekeeping required good sneakers and a willingness to trip publicly now and then? Maria's walking stick tapped uneven pavement as dawn painted Vancouver's streets gold. 52 years of city living had taught her sidewalks held stories, cracks from forgotten winters, scuffs from skateboarders who'd outgrown rebellion. Today, though, that stick wasn't just steadying her stride. It was a silent protest against Mrs. Kowalski's yapping terrier, Mr. Nguyen's encroaching hydrangeas, and invisible walls neighbors built between fences. She'd tried petitions. Meetings dissolved into side-eyed glares over store-bought cookies. Then, mid-rant about compost bin territorialism, Maria's knee twinged, not arthritis, but inspiration. If folks wouldn't sit civilly, maybe they'd walk civilly. First attempt, 3 people showed. A librarian, a retired plumber, and a teen who thought walk club meant Pokemon Go. Creator swallowed pride along with bitter coffee. Second try, she leaned into Vancouver's obsession with fresh air and subtle nosiness. Flyers community centers promised no agendas, just steps. 16 neighbors materialized, including Mrs. Kowalski, clutching her demon dog like a furry security blanket. Progress wasn't linear. Maria's stick became a baton passing piece, pointing out cherry blossoms, nudging litter into bins. By week 3, hydrangeas got trimmed after Mr. Nguyen noticed how they snagged passing sleeves. Terrier. Now trotted beside she like a reformed henchman. Doubt still nipped her heels. Some mornings, she'd eye her stick, wondering if it was just propping up foolish hope. But then fam would gather, swapping stories over steep hills, and Maria would grin absurdity, who knew grudges melted faster than snow on seawalls. By summer, stick stayed home more often. Knees stronger, neighborhood softer. Not perfect, but walking. Always walking. Maria's walking stick tapped uneven pavement as dawn painted Vancouver's skyline peach. 52 years of city living had taught her neighbors fought over parking spots, barking dogs, unkempt hedges, petty battles eroding community spirit. But today, that stick wasn't just steadying her stride. It was a baton, and she was ready to pass rhythm of connection. She'd hatched a plan between sips of chamomile tea, a neighborhood walk club, not for fitness, but for frayed tempers. First step. Turning her grandmother's carved maple stick into a symbol. Local community center, she mounted it on a display titled Step Together, Stand Taller, surrounded by photos of feuding neighbors turned walking buddies. A sly grin tugged her lips, who'd argue mid-stride when surrounded by cherry blossoms. Skeptics lurked. Brenda from Strata Council rolled her eyes, muttering about hippie nonsense. But Creator had guts, not guilt. She led inaugural walk anyway, her stick punctuating each step like a metronome of resolve. Halfway through, magic struck, Brenda tripped over a raised sidewalk slab. Maria's stick shot out, steadying her. A photographer captured moment, silver hair flying, Brenda's scowl melting into stunned gratitude. By afternoon, image flooded local feeds. Viral grandma mediates with her feet. Crowd swelled next walk. Even mayor showed up, chuckling as Creator quipped, City Hall could use fewer meetings, more mileage. Her stick became a talking piece, passed between former adversaries like a peace pipe. Teens dubbed her stick queen, elders nodded, remembering when sidewalks were for stories, not side-eyes. As twilight gilded streets, Maria paused, watching clusters of neighbors laugh over shared thermoses. Her chest swelled. No rulebook, no fancy degrees, just one woman, a stick, and stubborn belief that movement mended fences. She adjusted her sun hat, mischief glinting. I'm writing my own story. And fam, Vancouver was reading every word. Maria's walking stick tapped uneven pavement as dawn painted Vancouver in gold. 52 and fierce, she'd turned frustration into fuel, her odd habit of muttering to hydrants now a running gag among neighbors who once bickered over hedges and parking spots. That splintered stick, once just a prop for sore knees, had become a baton of change. She'd launched Stride and Solve, a walk club where gripes got aired mid-stride, dissolving like morning fog over English Bay. No grumpy cliches here, just folks sweating out pettiness one block at a time. Community centers buzzed with sign-ups, even mayor joined, huffing apologies for potholes between gulps of matcha. Maria guided them all, her stick now a proud flagpole for handmade peace flags tied by grateful fam. By summer, sidewalks bloomed with chalk art and shared zucchini bread. Rival gardeners traded clippings. Teens taught elders TikTok dances, badly. Maria's knees still creaked, but her spirit. Light as a dandelion seed. That stick, once leaning by her door, now stood planted in a sidewalk crack, a monument to momentum. Lace up, step out, your street story starts with a single stride.